Hello scrappy friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is being brought to you straight from my Facebook page. Today I'm going to air a live presentation that I did over on my Facebook page several weeks ago using the Creative Memories Notebook Edge border making cartridge, and it was very popular over on my Facebook page and highly requested that I upload it here to YouTube. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just replaying it. So if you've already seen it, it might be worth rewatching again just for the ideas. If you haven't seen it, then I hope you like it. It's just different ideas as to what to do with the notebook edge punch. And until next time, everybody, take care, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hello, scrappy friends. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to, well, first of all, I should say welcome to Workshop Wednesday. Today we are going to do another tool demonstration. And I mean, tools are developed to help us create those quick, beautiful pages. They add color and texture to our layouts, and this new Notebook Edge Punch is no exception to that. This is brand new. Creative Memories just released it. Now, if you're like me, you probably have other notebook edge punches of some kind, either border punches or even maybe a Creative Memories border making cartridge, because they have had this out before. I don't have it, but the style is a little bit different. So I am a sucker for a good edge punch, especially if it's, especially a notebook edge punch, I should say, and especially if the design is a little bit different. I don't know why I love notebook edge punches so much. I'm guessing maybe because I love all things stationery supplies and everything like that. But this cartridge, I feel like it's one of those generic cartridges, and I say that a lot because I tend to lean toward purchasing the ones that I feel like have a generic purpose, and by that I mean we could use them on all kinds of layouts and have lots of options with them. And with this one, I feel that's the case, because the edge punch, it's going to give us a beautiful border that's going to be different. It's going to give us options for layering it as a border. But I'm going to use it mostly probably for journaling boxes, so I can create more fancy journaling boxes. And it's like I always say, we can put a camera icon on any page, and I feel like we could put hearts on any page, because most of our layouts are with photos and with people that we love. So those two things go hand in hand, and I feel like the notebook edge punch is the same, that we're going to put journaling on most of our pages and our layouts. So this could just be a little helpful tool to add a little bit of texture and depth to our journaling spots, but also we can use it for cluster bases. So that's what I want to show today. I want to show it as a border. I'm going to punch it out as a border, as a strip, and then show some journaling box ideas and some cluster base ideas. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And let's see, bring in some blue. I like to use a little bit darker color to demonstrate, because it pops out a little bit more on camera. Okay, we're just using it like any other border making cartridge. Put it in our paper holder, insert the cartridge, line up the notches on the front of the housing unit to the paper tray and housing, and press down, and you can go up or down. This one, I do find I need to kind of swing it out. This little piece gets caught for me quite often, so I'll be tearing it off. But if I kind of make a big swing out and come back in, it kind of helps it from not jamming. So this is an edge punch. So it stays attached to the paper until we cut it off. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'll do this one at 1 inch. Let me bring in my white board to show you. And there we go. it almost looks like a little wave. It's really small and tight together. I love that. And the fallout is pretty nice as well if you're into that kind of thing, but you know, just line it up and you get kind of a fun looking border with just the fallout. Okay, so there it is punched out. Let's really quickly do a double punch and see what it looks like, because I think the double punch is really nice as well. And I'll show you some different sizes that we can do. Okay. Whoops. Okay, when I trim this one off, I will trim it at 2 inches. And I did move the punch ever so slightly right in here, so you'll see that, but for the demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Now this one gets a little bit short, so I would bring in a helper piece and hold the sticky notes to kind of help hold that firm in the paper guide. And we'll do the other side. I just like to push a little bit firmer as I'm moving down the track, just to be sure it doesn't move. You see that one little piece gets hung up for me. Sometimes if I go up the track instead, it's a little bit smoother. Okay, whoops. Okay, let's see what we have here. And there we go. That is the 2-inch double-sided. Let me take that one little piece off. It's distracting. There we go. That's the 2-inch. So that's the single, the 2-inch. Here it is. I already pre-cut it on a 1.5-inch strip. And then here's a real small one on a 1-inch strip. So we're really going to be using the helpers on those cuts for sure. Okay. Okay, let's put this aside and let's look at it as a journaling feature. Let's create a couple different journaling areas. So, of course, I'm going to bring in the ruled or lined paper because it's going to work so beautiful on this and create such a nice text box. So the idea is when it's on the page, I want to have the notebook edge coming over here off the left-hand side, just as if I was pulling it out of a notebook. Okay, but to trim it and punch it, I do need to turn it in this way because I'm right-handed. But and I'm also paying attention to the vertical lines of my paper so that it'll look like a notebook when I'm finished. Okay. So again, let's start at the bottom. Again, we'll just punch out a strip. Okay. Then what I want to do on this one, which I think was kind of gives it that just fine tuning kind of look. So here's our paper. It looks just like a notebook piece pulled out. But what I want to do is I want to change my blade and use a blade we don't use very often. I want to use the perforating blade. And I'm going to give it a little edge so that it looks just like a notebook piece in a notebook. Okay, so I'm going to line it up at the 1/2 inch mark. And then gently glide that. If you have a deep groove in your mat, be careful because you could go right through, but it gave it a little line so it looks like a piece of lined paper right out of a notebook. So I thought that's pretty fun. Just that little line alone adds a little bit more texture to our pages. Okay, so let's continue making our journaling areas. And I like about a 3-inch. It depends on my layout. So this is the great thing about it. You can make this as big as you want or as small as you need, okay? So I'm just gonna do about a 3-inch here, and go ahead and trim that off. And let's do about a 4-inch. I think that's a good representation of a journaling spot. And there we go. It looks like just a little notebook page, and I would just put this on as my journaling area. Okay, then what else we could do? You want to distress this a little bit. I love doing this. You just kind of pull out some of the edges, pieces, kind of make it look like it was just freshly pulled out of a notebook. We can even tear the top a little bit, make it look really roughed up. Here, let's put it up against the blue so we can see it. There we go. So if you wanted to add a little bit of distressing to it, there you go. That looks fun. Looks like it's been through a little bit, like when you pull a piece of paper out of a notebook, right? Okay, let's decorate this. Because I would decorate this as well, and depending on how big you wanted to make it, let me show you. Here's a little bit bigger one. This is a 4-inch. Let's see, what is this one? This one was, oh, 3.5 by 4, and that one's 3 by 4. But if we simply just put a little decoration on it, we can bling it up a little bit. Of course, I would add whatever my theme is for my layout. This one might be like an outdoor layout, so I would add a little bit of bling to that. Okay. What else? Another fun thing to do is, let's bring in some brown paper. I like using brown, especially if I'm doing outdoor layouts. And let's do it again. So we have a 3-inch piece. I like that one. And now I just want to give the edge punch to the top up here. And this one's a little bit harder to use as a standalone punch. You can, but it would, you'd have to really line it up. So what I found works best is to take our paper and always just put it in one of the corners. So either the corner at the top or the corner at the bottom, and then punch the 2 areas, or however many you need, to line it up. Okay, that gives it the best edge punch, and it doesn't take that much time. Whereas if you, otherwise you would have to turn it over and line it up, and then move it and line it up. So it's a little bit more difficult. Just throw it in your tray to the corner, and voila. Okay, let's go ahead and trim this so we can see. There we go. Isn't that super cute? It's also cute if we layer it up. So you can take another one and layer it like that. It looks like it was just freshly pulled out of the notebook. Okay, so that's a nice square one. Very linear. You can corner round it. That would look really nice as well. One more technique. What I would do, let's change the blade again. This time we'll use the decal. I love this look. I've done this with tags. I've done this several times, but I love this look. It kind of gives it a little rough and tough look. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a waist cut to get it started, and then turn it. I'm just lining it up basically to that second line on my mat. There we go. I'm going to do the 3 edges first. And then I'm going to put it into the order making tray and use the punch. And same thing, I put it right into the corner, and you can use the top or the bottom. And oops, there's that piece again. Let's get all that out of there. There we go. And you need to do the second one, even though it's just a little piece left. You want to come down and there we go. Let me get that blue piece so you can see it, because this one is my favorite. Adds a lot of different texture to our journaling spot, and then you can just journal right on there. You can always add a little piece on top if you wanted to journal on white instead, but there you go. This is my favorite one, using that deco blade. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so that's how I would start off using it as journaling, excuse me, journaling areas. Now for a cluster base, let's bring our trimmer back in and be sure to change that blade. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to start off with a 4-inch square. Okay, this is fun. This one adds a lot of texture as well. I mean, that's the idea of the punch, right? Or the border cartridge. And so I put my 4-inch square in the housing, the paper tray in the corner again, top or bottom. I just like to align it. This time I'm going to get 2 full punches. And I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. We're always looking for those cluster bases or tucking somewhere to house a title. And this would be a great one for that. And turn it. Again, I'm always just making sure it's flush in that corner, even with the edge punch already there. Yep, I moved it on that one. That's okay. Just gives us an opportunity to embellish or layer. Tuck. Okay, I feel like it's getting that paper stuck in there, and there, that piece, that one hung on nicely. And there we go. So there's my my cluster base, or a good area to put some embellishments. So let me grab a couple here and show you. Put some flowers. In fact, I'm going to cover up my little area there. You won't even see it. Add a couple embellishments and maybe even your title. And there we go. Let me put it onto some white paper so you can see it better, or a white background. There we go. Beautiful. I love it. It looks like a postage stamp. But yeah, all 4 sides. If you're going to tuck in one side, of course you wouldn't have to do that side. This was a 4x4-inch square. And then I also did it with a 3-inch square and a 2-inch square. Now the 2-inch square I probably would use for tucking or something like that. It could be a place for embellishments as well. Let's see if I have anything on my tray here I could use. I have a couple little things. I would probably tuck it. You see how it looks good when they're like little pieces are falling off, and then you could just embellish it like that. Let me show you how I did the 2-inch square. So of course I did a 2-inch piece and then I trimmed it all the way around. So let me get that piece I cut at the beginning. So this one I did a double-sided punch out. So I punched one side, turned the paper around, cut it at 2 inches, and then punched the other side. So what I would do with this, same thing, to get that little square, insert it into the paper tray, put it right up in the corner, hold it down, and then line up your notches, and just, this one just takes one punch. Then I would trim this at 2 inches. And then I do need the helper of the Post-it. When you line this one up, you need to make sure that it's nice and straight with the edge. So you don't want it to interrupt going into the paper tray. And slide it into that corner again. Of course, we want to punch the other side that's not punched yet. And push it all the way to the top. I'm going to hold down pretty firm right here because it's basically floating. Line those up. And there you go. A little 2-inch square. That one really looks like a postage stamp. Okay, let me bring some of these other ones back in so we can have a look at them all together. This was the journaling spot with the decal blade around the outside. This was the, let's see, straight, same size, I just trimmed it with the decal blade. Then I have this one done on a piece of lined paper to look like a piece of notebook paper. Let's put it on this. We can decorate that to kind of give it a little bit of bling. And of course, we don't want to forget the border itself and the double punched borders. So lots of uses so far with this Notebook Edge border making cartridge. I am just loving it. This one is really going to sit on my project cart because I have a feeling I will be using this one a lot coming up. So stay tuned. Hope I can come back with some more ideas using this punch. It's a fun one. I hope that you grab it. And that's all I have for this Workshop Wednesday. So until next week, everybody, take care and come back again next week and see what we're going to do. Okay? Bye-bye.